What it do, YouTube? This is Acid Roots. So I'm going to review Lil Wayne's The Drought is Over 3 mixtape. Now, basically, this mixtape is a series of mixtapes by DJ Empire. Reviewed the second one last fall. Had a bunch of the Carter 3 sessions in there and stuff like that. Songs like Did It Before, I Feel Like Dying, I'm a Beast, some of those type hits that were really ravenous Lil Wayne songs that he originally intended for the original Carter 3, but when the album kind of got leaked, and I suppose that this was one of the reasons why for it, he kind of moved it to 2008, kept it under better lock and key. But this is like if the Drought is Over 2 was specifically talking about like the Carter 3 sessions, these are just kind of more of an amalgamation of spare Lil Wayne songs, the stuff that he was working on circa 2007. But I don't feel like these were so much specifically like the Carter 3 sessions. Like I can tell that these were just kind of maybe just spare songs that Lil Wayne was just kind of testing the waters with in terms of fleshing out and kind of hashing out what he was going to do for the Carter 3. But none of these really felt like something that I probably would have thrown on an album. But they are quality mixtape cuts. And considering that back in the 2000s, Lil Wayne didn't really do original songs for his mixtapes, he always freestyled over stuff. It kind of feels like this is an interesting gesture to kind of get some mixtape era Lil Wayne, which is just stuff that you're not going to be able to find anywhere else. Like I feel like the song "Uh-Oh," which basically is a Ja Rule song from 2007 that was supposed to be on his Scrap 2007 album. There's really not too many other places where you can find that project. And it's the same thing. I mean, Screwed Up with Trade the Truth and then Lil Wayne. This was a powerful hit. Now, this is actually on Trade the Truth's album, but it just feels like, I mean, back then they maybe weren't as aware it was going to happen. So it's kind of, that's a good one. And, there's some interesting remixes like White Girl and Party Like a Rock Star, which really have some good vibes as far as, I mean, the thing about it is these are actual remixes. So I didn't realize that Jeezy kind of recorded a new verse to White Girl, but there's some clever stuff on here that kind of does that. So, but yeah, I just would basically have to say it just reminds me of a lot of kind of spare songs and interesting. It's just a bunch of spare songs and interesting kind of projected altitudes that Lil Wayne was on in 2007. And it's particularly noteworthy just because Lil Wayne was complete on Dynamite Fire in 2007. I mean, everything he did, he had the Midas touch back then, so this was really kind of some ravenous. I mean, his lyrics are just off the meter, and it's definitely something to invest. It's definitely something to invest in, even if it's not the Carter 3 sessions this time. You will find some quality mixtape cuts here. So I'll go ahead and out of 11 songs, there's 13 songs on here, but 2 of them are just intros and interludes. So the 11 songs, the 7 I'll recommend to you, I'll go ahead and recommend those. So they are Screwed Up, I'm Raw, White Girl, Party Like a Rock Star, Beat Without Bass, Uh-Oh, and My House. Now, White Girl and Party Like a Rock Star are 2 particularly good freestyles, and the thing about it is they're new. So Shop Boys and Jeezy's USDA both added new verses to this song, so it wasn't just Lil Wayne just tacking something on. These were actual, and I'm not aware. I don't remember the White Girl remix and the Party Like a Rockstar remix. I want to say the Party Like a Rockstar remix had Lil Wayne and Jim Jones on there, but it's interesting is because Lil Wayne, of course, tore apart these songs, and Jeezy. I mean, these are just quality club songs and social type songs and that type of stuff. So it's just real kind of ravenous type songs for those remixes. But then there's actually some new stuff on here, but I'll talk about some other things. Screwed Up and My House are songs that were actually singles and supposed to be on albums. Like Currency was supposed to have an album on Lil Wayne's Cash Money and Young Money label, but it didn't pan out. So this kind of became a spare song. And My House is okay. I can definitely see it as like a quality hot. I can definitely see it as like a quality house party type song. Definitely reminds me of like Jaquan's Tipsy, just a little bit more thumping kind of production. Not quite as like sonically catchy as Tipsy by Jaquan, but definitely a pretty quality house party song for Currency to kind of do. And Lil Wayne is just kind of on the chorus, and he kind of does like the bridge at the end of the song, but it is a quality cut for just like a standard house party. It's a good place to get it. And I'm going to talk about a complaint about this in a second, but Screwed Up is another good one, even though you can find that on Trade the Truth's 2007 album. Still great to hear it. Just an excellent kind of menacing beat. One of the best beats out of rap in 2007. Really kind of an overlooked and underappreciated song. Lil Wayne just completely tore apart that verse and Trey the Truth's kind of uh, gloomy, kind of sulky kind of verse. It's not so much emo, but just kind of in his kind of low bass heavy kind of voice. It just works extremely well. And then like I said, was a nice one just because that's a Ja Rule song that was supposed to be for his album, but it just kind of works as, I mean, the beat is kind of up tempo and kind of uppity and dicey and fast paced, but it works just because Lil Wayne tore it apart. Definitely an example of Lil Wayne kind of in between Carter 2 and Carter 3 type vibes, but it's pretty terrific song. And so to talk about the new songs, the mixtape songs, there's not many of these. It's really just I'm Raw and Beat Without Bass are the only real mixtape original songs that I liked. And like both I'm Raw and Beat Without Bass kind of feel like hot boxing, smoking in the car type songs. I mean, I'm Raw is a little bit more of a party song, but it just kind of has that mixtape kind of griminess towards it. Definitely kind of feel like that's a nice one. I mean, I could probably hear this being played at like some sort of night venue, some stuff like that, but it's just kind of such a woozy and kind of gritty kind of song. And this is kind of more of like mixtape quality, but Lil Wayne definitely needed more songs like this on mixtapes back in the 2000s, especially 2007. And then Beat Without Bass is just kind of like a sulky, kind of glimmering type song where Lil Wayne just tears it apart. These are just great mixtape cuts. So that's kind of the concept about it. So I'm going to go ahead and give this mixtape, me liking 7 out of 11 songs. I'm going to go ahead and give this mixtape like an 8 out of 10. I really feel like I would almost give it a 7.75, but yeah, I'll give it a 7.75 out of 10 just because I would give it an 8 if it had more original cuts on here. Like I do like My House and Uh-Oh, but I feel like it really needed more cuts like I'm Raw and Beat Without Bass. It definitely needed some more original cuts like that. I feel like 13 songs is a little bit too thin, or really 11 songs is a little bit too thin for such quality like this. We really needed more from Lil Wayne to kind of see this. But to talk about some of the songs I didn't enjoy, I kind of feel like there's 4 soulful songs on here that Lil Wayne kind of did a lot in 2007. This was something he kind of did in the Carter 2 and Carter 3, where he would kind of do these soulful, kind of smoke heavy, just smoke a blunt and kind of be introspective type songs, but they just don't work this time around. Like I feel like Kush is a great example. Kush from 2007 is a great example of doing that, but Pray to the Lord, Dear Lord, Killing Me, and Tell Me You Need Me are all just really kind of pretty bad and awful versions of trying to do some of that soulful type stuff. It just didn't really capture it nearly as well as like Kush and other songs did, like Gossip and some of those type ones. I definitely kind of feel like I would have to say that I think Lil Wayne normally can knock out these type soulful ones. I just don't know why they didn't deliver this time. I feel like the beats were just not quite as catchy and quite as on point as like they really needed to be, and they just needed a lot more distinction. Maybe it's just because they were just scrappy, just kind of sketchy type songs at the time. But I would have felt like Lil Wayne would have had a little bit more draw towards it because he did do it on like the Carter 2. I feel like I can't really think of the songs from the Carter 2 that did it, but it kind of it just needed more kind of polished production like Kush and some of those type songs. But yeah, so just too many bad soulful songs, not enough like mixtape hits, original mixtape hits like I'm Raw and Beat Without Bass. And this album just felt very brief. It felt very brief. The Lil Wayne that we got is of course great. I mean, his lyricism is on fire, and he delivers on all these songs for the most part. But not enough original songs, too many bad soulful songs, and yeah, it was just a little bit too brief for that type stuff. I mean, I do like the fact, and another complaint about it is the mixtape that I was able to find. I don't know if Dat Piff's version of this mixtape is uncensored because Dat Piff isn't really working nowadays, but the mixtape version that I was able to find kind of censored a lot of these songs. That kind of pissed me off because The Drought is Over 3, because it's kind of a halfway team up with Jadakiss. Like half the album is Lil Wayne songs, the other half is Jadakiss. It's really tough to find. There's not an overabundance. You can find Drought is Over 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, and sometimes the first one, but the third one is kind of one of the tougher ones to find. So just the fact that I found it, but it's censored, really kind of pissed me off. So there's just a number of things. Hopefully there's an uncensored version somewhere out there, but that's just kind of the concept. So just bad soulful songs, not enough original songs, and being censored, getting the clean version are just a number of the complaints. So I would give it an 8. If I disliked 7 out of 11 songs, there would have been a little bit more. But the fact that I'm just going to give it a 7.75. And so the social score, I will give an 8 out of 10 just because all these songs hit. As long as you can find the version that's not censored, I would just recommend that version better. But there is definitely some quality on here to be able to have that. So 8 social, 7.75 score. And in terms of the future, like Lil Wayne is supposedly working on the Carter 6, so hopefully we'll get that soon. I'm going to get some more of these Drought is Overs kind of taken care of. That's just kind of the concept. So this is kind of some mixtape fury from Lil Wayne, but there's some things that kind of botch and sabotage this from getting more shine that it deserves.